Good morning, everybody in the house, and a big shout out, Fransha. Thank you so much for being one of the speakers at the FPI's 35th annual convention. And everybody that attended, whether it was online, in person, thank you so much for your support. And I'm ready for the 2026 convention already, which will be in Cape Town, 7 and 8 October next year. But with that, let's start to see what happened whilst the world was standing still at Salmon Convention Center earlier this week. So the Financial Services Tribunal, this is a very interesting case, dismissed an application by Jaden Jacobs, a former representative of Sanlam, who sought to overturn his debarment issued in May earlier this year. Now, Sanlam's forensic team found, an investigation found that Jacobs allowed his brother Jakes. So we're working with Jaden and Jakes. He allowed his brother Jakes, who himself was debarred in 2023, to actually work with the clients, to give them quotes, to give them advice and everything else. And then what Jakes did, the brother that was debarred, he would then invoice Jaden for the majority of the commission. Now, Jaden argued that his brother only provided administrative help and that no clients were actually harmed. It sounds like a movie, no animals were harmed, but anyway, no clients were harmed. However, the tribunal found that the evidence clearly showed that the brother was rendering advice. Now, this was Jakes debarred in 2023. The evidence showed that he was rendering advice and that Jaden acted dishonestly by trying to conceal the arrangement. Now, what I find interesting with this case is that Jakes, who was debarred in 2023, the financial institution, that I mentioned, then just handed the clients to Jaden. So that's what happened here, Jaden and Jakes, and then the tribunal ruled that Sanlam had followed a fair process and that the debarment was both procedurally and substantially fair. So the Financial Services Tribunal then reaffirmed that financial services providers are legally obliged to debar anyone who no longer meets the fit and proper requirements. That's quite an interesting brother story there. Then the FSCA has issued 3 public warnings that is of importance. And why do they issue these public warnings? I thought I'll just quickly jump into that. The Financial Sector Conduct Authority has a financial education plan, which they have. So the financial, which they call FEP, and part of the outcomes or the KPIs in the FEP financial education plan is that they need to warn the public about fraudsters. So the first one is Daniel Karabu Shabalala, who was found soliciting funds from the public for investment purposes via Instagram, offering trading signals and services. So he's not authorized by the FSCA to provide financial services, and he failed to respond to any of the FSCA's inquiries. Then we have Mr. Joash Naidu, who offered copy trading and forex signals, claiming that 1,000 Rand investment could yield 16,000 in 24 hours. I'll say that again, that 1,000 Rand could yield 16,000 in just 24 hours. Now, he falsely claimed affiliation with TD Markets Pty Limited, who obviously denied any connection to Naidu. So Josh Naidu is unauthorized to provide financial services under any financial services law, and he also did not respond to any of the FSCA's inquiries, which obviously then results in the public warning. Then the last warning was Fast Track Global Trade, who operated a website promoting investment plans with daily returns of 98% and a charge of 15% withdrawal fees on any profits. Entity obviously is not authorized to provide financial services in South Africa and made unrealistic return promises. I mean, 98% on a daily basis, sure, which is then a common sign of obviously fraudulent schemes. FSCA was also unable to reach the company for comment. Then maybe in closing from my side, there is a new pension funds adjudicator in the House. The Minister of Finance has announced the appointment of Mr. Lebogang Paul Mogashwa as the new pension funds adjudicator effective 8 December this year for a 3-year term. Mr. Mogashwa brings 17 years of experience in pension fund law, governance and administration. He previously served as the Deputy Principal Executive Officer and Company Secretary at the Eskom Pension and Provident Fund, and earlier worked actually at the Pension Funds Adjudicator as a Senior Assistant Adjudicator. He's an admitted advocate. He holds an LLB as well as an LLM, and he has a Master of Management from Wits University. The Minister of Finance congratulated Mr. Mogashwa and thanked the outgoing adjudicator, Ms. Muvanga Antoinette Likamane, for exceptional leadership and contribution to the Pension Funds Office. Again, thank you to everybody who attended our convention, and we look forward to make more announcements about annual refresher that will kick off in Q1 2026. With that, goodbye.